Happy Women's Day!
Just by the way, if there's any brother out there.
Congolese rule 101, you don't leave. Listen.
So yeah,
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Congolese in Johannesburg Women's Day breakfast. I know you have FOMO because you see all this food here. You can have some, but you're not here. Anyway, so welcome everybody. So today we're going to have a bit of good conversations, interesting conversations that are enticing, conversations that get you thinking with some incredible women. As you can see here, we have 2, 4, 5 women who are going to share some of their knowledge. I mean, everything we say here is obviously our opinions. You take what you want to take and you leave what you don't think applies for you. But it's so nice to hear different opinions from women, and yeah, so welcome and happy Women's Day to everybody. So we're going to go around and just find out a bit about these lovely ladies that are here today. So we're going to start on that side at the corner. So tell us, what's your name?
hi everybody, happy Women's Day to everybody. Bonne fête des femmes à vous toutes. My name is Sarah Mubenesha. I wouldn't say my age, sorry guys, please don't ask for my age. But I'm a fashion designer and stylist, and yeah, I'm very happy to be here with these women. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to the next lady.
Hey everyone, my name is Regina Ilunga. I am a poet, I'm an author, I am a preacher, I am an entrepreneur, I am so many things actually. And happy Women's Day to everyone, and we are just here to enjoy all the time.
Happy Women's Day, everyone. My name's Kevina Tshibangu Ilunga. I am artistic director for a publishing house, graphic designer, and a serial entrepreneur. At this point, I can sell you everything.
Awesome.
Hello everyone, my name is Nthabeleng, letsoane, and I am in marketing and PR within civil engineering. I'm also an entrepreneur and excited to be here.
Hello, happy Women's Day, bonne fête aux femmes. My name is Nathalie Zulu. I'm a mother and a businesswoman. I work mostly in fashion, and I'm happy to be here around these amazing women.
Awesome. Thank you so much, ladies. Did you guys all hear that? Hey, the woman didn't come here, I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor. Not that, but you see that there's a lot of things going on. Hey, they have, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a that. Because women, we're something else, you know. We work.
Truly,
We work.
Yeah. No, we do.
We work, not just at home. We work.
No, we do.
Okay? so it's very interesting, and I'm so excited for you guys to be here to just listen to and hear what these ladies have to offer, because you can see, as you guys can hear, they're from different fields. Different fields, but it's also good to hear. We have moms, we have wives, we have all of it. So our opinions that are going to be here is going to be from different perspectives. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to not really play a game, but we're going to get some opinions. So I'm going to ask them, all ladies, you all have this.
Yes. Okay.
So it's called agree, disagree. Okay, agree, disagree. So how this works is I'm going to ask them a question. These are myths or things we hear about women and men, okay? So they will decide if they agree with the myth or disagree with the myth. Okay, ladies, are you ready?
Yeah.
Do you have your cards?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. You ready? Let me just get it. Awesome. So I don't know if these are myths or not, but apparently they are. So the first question is, women are more dramatic than men.
Wow.
Agree, disagree. Disagree, agree. All right, let's hear your opinion. Why do you say that in 2 seconds?
Wow. Because, well, honestly, I feel like because of the emotions, you know, sometimes we really like exceed it a little too much, you know. The emotions, like, it rises up very fast in for most women. I wouldn't say every woman though, and I wouldn't say that also men are not dramatic when they want to, but when it comes to women, I think, yeah, with the emotions mixed it up, yeah, we can be very dramatic.
Okay. Regina?
On my opinion, well, men think logically and women think with the emotions. That's why we are much more emotional in terms of situations that happen.
So you're calling dramatic emotional?
Yeah, we are too much. Yeah, we overdo it sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I disagree because when a man is sick,
I wanted
they're more,
to say
they're more no. If you want to see a dramatic man, he can have a headache, but he will make it seem like right now they told him that he has 2 hours to live. You know, so in my opinion, men are more dramatic, and also just because men are told to keep their emotions in, and if you check a lot of like men that are depressed is due to the fact that they were told to hold their emotions. So for me, I think that low-key, they are more dramatic. Yeah.
Low-key, high-key. I was waiting for somebody to say it, because if somebody didn't say it, I was going to be like, when men are sick, like I even see it with my father, I'm just like, honestly,
girl,
like you're going to be okay. It's you're coughing. That's it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think from my side, I also said disagree, and that low-key is key. Kadoomch. I mean, inherently women speak more. So I think that's why it's easy to assume, oh, you're more dramatic because you speak more than what men do. But I find dramatic wise, men can be passive aggressive, so their drama can be on the low key side where they don't really say anything. That sort of silent treatment thing where women will more often verbalize.
That's so true.
I would say women are dramatic because I know myself. Okay? I
Personal.
know myself. I'm not a drama queen. I'm not a crying lady or what, but it can happen, you know, when it gets on your nerves and then you can explain something the person doesn't want to understand. It's not that the person doesn't understand. He doesn't want to understand. And all that, you know, the accumulation of everything and the emotions also are playing something in this. And we tend to look like we are more dramatic than men. But I also understand your point. I know that when they get sick, when they get sick, it's another thing.
Yeah.
It's another thing.
Man.
You see that strong man, that provider, that one who does everything in the house, lying down crying just because of a flu or a headache. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. And when I would talk, they would say I'm dramatic.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's interesting.
That's it.
You know, I've heard people always say that communication is key, but I've also heard that with what you said, comprehension is key. Because you can communicate and communicate and be like, blah, 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 and speak until your head falls off. And if a person doesn't comprehend or understand you, you'll be talking to a brick wall. So comprehension is also very important. So that leads me to my next question. This is about confidence. Do you think men are less confident than women? Do you agree that men are less confident than women? Agree or disagree? Tell us. Agree? Disagree? Venus thinking hard on this one, huh?
No.
We should have had a maybe, hey?
No,
guys,
this is a maybe.
Okay. Agree? Disagree? Okay, so this time I'm going to get two people. Nthabi, tell us. Why do you
Men
disagree?
are less confident than women. I don't think so. I think confidence is an individual thing. I've come across men that are very passive and, you know, withdrawn, and they can't stand up or look people in the eye or speak to people. And I've come across women that are the same. But I don't believe it's a gender thing. Confidence is not a gender thing. It's more your frame of reference. It's more the kind of person you are in terms of your personality, where you are able to be a confident person. So I guess that's why.
Okay. Sarah?
Sure. I also said disagree, by the way. Because like she said, I will have to go because I do believe that it has to do with your character. Like from one person to another, you can just meet different character way of the way they've grown, the things that they've experienced will also impacts how confident you can be. So hence I would believe that I disagree, and we believe that it depends from one person to another.
Who agreed? Regina, why?
Why? Okay, talking personally from what I've experienced as well is I've met a lot of men that are less confident of themselves. So they sort of need women to validates them
C'est
that
ça.
okay, you got it, you can do this.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the experience I've had. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Go men, go women.
And if I may add to that, what the men do generally, they play around with it. They know that they are not confident enough, so they will play you to make you feel like you are the one
Who's not
who's
confident?
not confident.
That's
Because
true.
they will hide it so well.
Pretenders. It's okay, we're gonna come back to that point. This is just the base. Can you hear how it's about to get interesting? So my next question is, women are less supportive of women. Do you agree or disagree?
Whoa.
Guys,
Listen, not in this group, but
are you sure not in this group, bro? You just want to say, you just want to be safe.
no, I'm just saying. So far, so good here. But
Okay.
Consensus.
Woo! Guys, this is the first. I think this is the only one that we're all gonna agree on. It's so interesting how fast you guys answered. Nobody just said agree. They went down like that. Okay, that's very interesting. Vina, why do you say that?
I think for me it stems from my upbringing, so obviously we're speaking out of like personal experience, and just like growing up as a girl, you know, being told that, hey, you know, if you do this, what kind of wife are you going to be? And that comes from your mom, who is a woman, you see. And just small comments like that, you know, when you grow up in society, it's like they get you ready for marriage to a man. Like never will it be like, yeah, but what kind of woman are you going to end up with? It's not like that, you know. They're obviously getting you prepared for another man. And just now, obviously now you grow up and you go to work, it's usually the woman fighting the woman, you see. Then you go on social media, it's us fighting us, but it's the men telling us how we must look, but we fighting each other to look like everything that they have set up and built up without even noticing it. So for me, that's why I just feel like it's society's rules, it's our parents, it's our grandparents, and in general I feel like we do love each other, but because we usually competing for the same things, we're okay with breaking each other down for that, and we don't even notice that most of those things were set up by men. Like I tell Frank, which is my husband, all the time, I'm like, if there were less men glorifying like women with curves, then there'll be less women feeling insecure, you see. So I don't know. That's my opinion.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, Nthabi?
I feel very passionate about
That
this.
came from the song. You were like, if she doesn't ask me, I will answer myself.
No, it's very personal for me, and especially within the culture of work. And that's why you even find stereotypes where if someone arrives now and they say they're your manager and they're female, the first thing you're like, oh my word, it's going to be a trip. It's going to be a trip. So I think inherently my experience personally and other women that I know is that the women are your worst enemies, especially within the workplace, because I believe a part of it comes from the fact that not a lot of opportunities were afforded to women before, so especially in like niche professions, you don't find a lot of women there. So because the cake is so small, everyone's just trying to get to it, and the person that's there refuses to lift other people up. They just like, you know, they're quite happy with that stigma of the first woman, the first quantum physical whatever woman in South Africa, and they're quite happy to stay there but not to open doors for other people. So I think I've seen it firsthand where it's been very difficult to get mentorship and to get assistance and to get support from fellow women, especially that are senior within the workspace. So that's why I really don't feel like we're at a place where we support each other nearly as much as we should.
True.
And as a mom?
I'm not a mom yet.
Sorry. You're like, what? Who's mom? Who's mom am I? Where are my kids?
As a mom, I agree, because I think women, we tend to become more possessive, you understand? It comes with our nature. Okay, we are mother, we need to nurture, we need to protect, you see. And we extend that even in our professional path. You go to work and you feel like, okay, I'm here, this is my place. Okay, so when somebody else comes or somebody asks for your advice or opinion, or you feel like, why should I help her? Okay, it's not like you're doing it intentionally. It comes with that thing in you. You see, that motherhood. You need to protect. You need to nurture. You need to think. You will help. Basically, you will help the person who's very close to you. True. But the person that is not that close to you, you will not try. Unless that person reach your heart, your mantle, and is around you. And we see that even with kids. A man can have children. He knows these are my children. No matter where they are my children. But a woman will want her children close to her.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do, she will do her best to have her children close to her. So I think that's why we don't share that easily. We don't help that easily. I would help my sister. I would help my family member, my best friend. We saw it, best friend. But at some point, because we are, I don't want to say territorial, but possessive. You understand? And we feel like if I open up, if I say, I might lose it.
That's so true.
So it's mostly that.
Okay, that brings me to our last agree-disagree question. So the last question is, women aren't as competitive as men.
Women aren't. Can we not do both?
Like, are not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or not.
No, I would disagree for that
Yeah.
Disagree? Agree. Okay, good. Actually, let me change this one.
Oh.
Women aren't as committed as men. They aren't as
You made
committed.
it difficult.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Disagree.
Committed.
As committed. Sarah's just like,
Are we? I was like, I'm disagreeing, but don't ask me.
let me think. You like,
I also disagree.
everyone disagrees.
Yes.
Interesting. I thought we were only gonna have one where we all agree. Okay, so you all disagree. Okay. Kevina, why?
I feel like women are more committed only because I feel like we have a lot of responsibilities. We have the responsibilities that were given to us because Eve decided to eat the apple. Then the responsibilities that society put on us, you know, and plus us trying to be equal to men. So, yeah, I feel like once you can have kids, guys, game over. You know, I feel like we are definitely the ones carrying a whole the load basically compared to men. I personally think so. Also at work, like women don't get paid the same amount that men do, but we have to show up and show off just so that you can keep the job, that you can be replaced by another man like this. So that's what I think.
Okay, Sarah, I was gonna ask you, but I remember you said
Listen to you.
so I'll go with Regina.
Okay, there's a saying that says, fake it until you make it. And I do believe that women do that a lot.
Oh, wait.
We fake it until we make it. Men have this tendency, okay, personal, I don't want to put it in a general thing, but from what I've experienced, they have this tendency when something is not going well, they're just going to give up and say, you know what, I tried and it is what it is. It is what it is. And also in terms of being committed, men also tend to, they're not able to be flexible like women. Women are what I call maestros. They're maestros. So basically, we multitask. We can do this, we can do this, we can do this, and it's like even with a woman, let's just say a stay-at-home mom, for example, she can cook, she cleans, she does laundry, all of that in one day, and at the same time. So we are able to multitask. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Guys, if you, after this, you don't respect a woman, you're a problem. So let's move on to the next thing. So I'm going to ask this question to Nthabi. Okay, this is about in the 21st century, a working woman. Okay. Do you think a working woman in this century is the same as a working woman in centuries prior to this? Like, let's think of your mom, in your mom's times, okay? Do you think women are perceived different now as working women as they were perceived back then?
Look, I think there are major differences when we look at our parents' generation. You look at where we are now. I believe so much work has been done in breaking the glass ceiling, so to speak. And women are now in positions where previously they would be, they are decision makers now in positions where they would be minute takers and secretaries before. So I believe, for example, in my mother's day, my mother was a bank teller before she went into full-time business. And she would have remained a bank teller until the 30 years would be up, and she'd be given the clock to say thank you, the watch to say, and the check to say thank you, and then go into retirement. A lot of women that are my mother's age, that's happened to them where they stayed in the same position that they were in for the 30 years that they were there, not because they were not committed or they were not good at what they were doing, but because the opportunities didn't exist for them to be more then. But I find now that there's a different perception now to where women have been very bold. I mean, it's come to our detriment on one part, but in terms of femininity and all of those things. But on the other part, just being very bold in terms of saying nothing that, for example, a man can do in the workplace is different to me. I mean, if it's something that's a passion of mine, then I can equally do it. So I think the work environment has changed drastically in that sense, to where now we're able to be like, nothing is off limits, and we're able to even multitask. You heard when we were introducing it ourselves that there wasn't just one title to say I am a secretary or a bank teller, but we hold many hats in that sense. So
sure, that's amazing. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting perspective. Thank you, Nthabi. Kevina, I want to ask you a question. In terms of, you're married, okay?
Okay.
In terms of finances in the home,
Right.
okay? Do you think women should manage the finances? Or men should, or both?
I think it doesn't come down to being a woman or a man. It definitely comes down to basically looking at everybody's finances and their patterns, how they use their money, how they spend their money, and obviously seeing who has the greater uphold. Because to be honest, when I got married, we got married very young, and both of us were just jokes, honestly. I cannot lie. And I think I learned faster than my husband, because I feel like when you become a mother, you sacrifice certain things that men sometimes don't feel the need to, you see. And because of that, it took a lot to get us to a place where he was like, okay, fine, you can deal with the finances, because as a man, also like a Christian man, they tell you to lead. So you feel like leading literally means taking control of everything, but actually sometimes leading means leaving it to somebody else and seeing if you're good enough of a leader for them to carry on, you see. So for me, it just comes down to the person that is better with money, the person that budgets better, and you guys decide. Because to think that it would just be I don't want to say dumb, but it just wouldn't be wise of us to break it down to either male or female. That just doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that now in African cultures, I like how you mentioned that men are supposed to be the head. Okay, so we hear this thing a lot, or men supposed to be the head, and some people take it in like a man must rule over a woman.
Absolutely.
What I say goes. Your opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? That a man must rule over a woman, as in back in the days they said a man is a man, so he gets to decide everything. Because I like what you said, that you guys agree or whatever, you're and a husband, whoever manages the money better. So what do you think about that?
I definitely don't agree with that, because even the money thing, I couldn't just give it to my husband. I feel like in especially Congolese cultures, I don't know if it's the same for South Africans, but before a girl gets married, they have like these chats with the mamas from the past, and they like give you lowdowns on like what's going to happen in marriage. And I remember like telling my mom that I was really upset at her, because I felt like the stuff that they tell you does not allow you to to express yourself freely as a woman. You become a hypocrite in your marriage, you know, and you do things according to culture, but when you look back, maybe your mom's marriage wasn't good, your grandma's, and you the further you go, the more failures you see, honestly. Yes, they were married, for 50 years, but she was really happy for one, you know. And for me, that's something that I didn't want to deal with. And I was, you know, I got married to a real Muluba man. His father at the time was nominated president of the Balubas. So you can just imagine what type of a man he was. And I had to fight my way to like equality. I won't even lie, you know. And I feel like a lot of women aren't willing to do that because, you know, they tell us, as a woman, you must just keep quiet. As a woman, put water in your mouth, you know. But how am I? This is the rest of my life with somebody. So when there's water, you can't speak.
It's basically begezela. So be strong, mela mai.
So for me, it's like, listen, a good leader knows his strengths and weaknesses. And a good leader can be like, you know, here, I'm not able. Can you help? That's when we come in. And it can only work, and we can only build an empire if you're honest about your strengths and weaknesses. So for me, I obviously do not agree with that. And I feel like, you know, every marriage is different. For us to really come up with rules, it's just unfair. It's unfair because people are different, dynamics are different, and basically I don't agree.
Okay, thank you. That is very, very informative. I like what you said because it's true. Because it is really true. When you speak to women, you hear a lot on their opinions of how, you know, it was tough at the beginning of their marriage or tough at the beginning of their relationships. But let's just say marriage mostly, because it's you hear one thing, they tell you react like this if he reacts like this, react like this if he does this, do this if he does this. But actually, also like what you said, there's no manual. You know, there's no manual way. But it's funny that when you go to different bridal parties, it's like there's a manual. It's like they gave all the moms and the tantines the same advice. Like you must give the same advice, and it's very sad because that advice was very legible a couple of years ago. It's she was, even then they liked each other. But it's changed, and you know, I think it's just it's important to adjust with the times and take what works for you and your spouse or whatever. My next question is for Regina. Regina, do you ever feel that you were pressured to get married? Like at a certain age, you think, I turned this age, and do you feel like, everybody's looking at you like, where's your husband?
Not really, but particularly in terms of, my mother would never do that. She's really lenient on us.
Never the mother.
She gives us time, you know, do what you gotta do, education and all of that, and then marriage, we do that when it comes. Now the aunts are the ones.
Those aunts.
It's always the aunts.
I remember it was, I think 2018. My aunt came to me and she said, Regina, don't you even have a boyfriend? Because I'm not really into those things, you know, of dating and all of that. But if I find someone, I stick on it for quite a while. So when she asked me, don't you have, you know, a boyfriend and all of that? You need to get married now. I'm like, come on, let me breathe. So there was a certain point in my life where I was pressured to be at least in a relationship, because I'm very serious with my life.
You go, girl.
I'm very serious with my life. Like,
remain
I don't have time to play. I'm just me. So there was a time when they were pressuring me to do that as well.
Sarah, do you feel the same?
She's not trying to call no one out.
I think that one time when it happened, like it was really like a lot, is when my niece got married. And the thing is, my niece is a year older than me, so it's like, you know, with the same WhatsApp group, so like if she has, I'm supposed to follow at some point. So when she got married, I was actually the maid of honor, so I was just there behind her. Everybody was like, we don't see a ring, we don't see anything, are you at least in a relationship? So at that time there was really a lot of pressure, like either direct or indirect. You see, like when they're joking, it's like yellow teeth, so they'll be like, okay, so when are you getting married? Oh my guys, can you actually chill, you know? And then obviously the older you get, the more, like even my mom's friends like would be asking questions like, is Sarah in a relationship? Like is there a brother in the neighborhood somewhere? And my mom would be like, when the time is right, the brother will come and we will let you know. So at this point I really don't feel pressure.
That's good.
That's good. Guys, I told you, it's never the mothers.
No.
It's always the aunties. Okay, very interesting. So I have a question for you, Nathalie. As a mom, a working mom, a wife, okay? Do you think it's easy to balance that? And then let me just add on to that is do you think you get pressure to be a certain way in all your roles?
The pressure is there. Okay. Just to rectify, I'm not married.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
I'm not married. But if I have to talk back then and now.
Okay.
Back then with my partner and the kids, I wasn't working. So I can't tell if how will I balance it. But I wanted to work. But he didn't want me to work. He wanted me to stay home and he would provide.
Yeah.
I got used to that lifestyle until everything stopped. So now I have to readjust myself. And it wasn't easy because I find myself in a foreign country with kids and not working for quite an amount of time. So it's a new environment for me. So starting looking for a job, you know nobody here. You don't know who to talk to, where to go, how it is done here in South Africa. So I've been trying for years until one day I decided, I say, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So I started my own business. I started first with a shop in DRC, in Kinshasa. And I was fighting with leaving the kid, traveling back home, coming back. It wasn't easy. Especially when you know that the kids are still small. And leaving them, you don't know who you're leaving the kids with. Okay? But I had to do it because I need to do something. And unfortunately, that part of the business didn't work because I couldn't manage the traveling and everything. So I decided, I said, no, let me do something here. And the best for me was to work from home. Because I'm the kind of mother who wants to give her time to her children. I don't want anybody else to raise my kids. I don't want a helper to dictate my kid what to do, how to do it. I want to be there. So I decided to do something that is not taking me away from my kids. So I work from home. And it has helped me a lot. I'm everything. I'm the driver. I drop them at school. I fetch them at school. I work from home. And when it's time, I stop everything. I start making the dinner. It's not easy. But you have to adapt. And as we said previously, women, we are multitask. We can do it all at once. I can be on the phone talking business and the other hand stirring my soup. You understand? And then I will stop the soup and the phone call and shout, please go back. You understand? I can do it. And we got used to it. It's not easy, I have to admit, but you have to accept it. You have to, because you need to know what do you want. What is it good for your children? And I have made my time, I have thought about it. I had to stop some pleasure just to concentrate on the business and the kids. Because I told myself, up to a certain age, until they reach that age, then now I can start to release. But before then, when they're still small, you can have a child of 2 years old. You can't just leave that child like that. Okay, so now they're grown. My daughter is 15, the boys are 11 and 10. So now I have time. I can go away, they will be fine. But before, that was a sacrifice I had to do. Just because I wanted it to work. Okay, because when you, that's another dilemma women goes with. When you are separated, divorced,
that's what I wanted to ask you next.
If you keep the kids, whatever happened to those kids, it's you.
Exactly what I wanted to ask you next. You know, being separated or divorced as a woman.
Yeah.
You know, there's a very big taboo. See how I automatically assumed, you know, as a woman, I automatically assumed, I didn't even ask you, I automatically assumed that you're a wife because you have children, you know, and that's what we think, you know, is the norm. But there is some cases like this, you know, and I'm so glad that you mentioned, and I'm so glad I made that mistake. Because it's a lot of women nowadays, a lot of women are, there's a lot of single women, and there's a lot of women who are divorced, you know. What would you say to a woman like that? Because there's a lot of people that speak, there's a lot of things spoken over their lives. What would you say? How did you deal with that? Because let's be honest, I'm sure that you got a lot of negativity, honestly. And it's usually always the woman, because they always say, we must beg Zella, we must be strong. So why did you not make it work? You know, they'll say, why did you not make it work? Why did you not try and stay? It's usually the woman who gets that, So how did you deal with that? So that's for the single divorcees,
We talk about what kind of advice we get before marriage, you know, and I got the talk. They told me certain things, and when things were going bad for me, those things were murmuring in my head, and I couldn't talk, I couldn't say anything. I just sat there and let everything out. Because they told me a woman doesn't leave her home. They said the husband needs to put you out. You cannot just leave. So I stayed. You understand? I stayed. And I believe at some point he got tired and he left. Because he realized that I wasn't leaving. So I think that's why he left. And when you stay, it's not like you will stay and everything will be okay. You have the family pressure, friends, and then you have the society. When I need to go register my kid at school, they ask for the father ID. When you go to the hospital, at that time I wasn't that independent because I was depending on him. They ask for a bank statement. Are you able to pay? And you still have to call him for him to pay. And for me, I took a time, I said, no, now I need to focus. How am I going to become independent? So I started doing everything I could do. I opened an account, I did this, I did that, until now I can go and register my kid without calling him. I can travel. Of course, I cannot travel out of South Africa without his approval, but I can still do things without going to him and him say yes or no. You understand? And that is a battle that many women cannot fight.
True.
They cannot.
How did you fight it? Because you know, you hear it and it's woman, you must, and then how did you, for you personally, how did you?
You need to be determined. I don't know how to say it.
Determined.
Yes, you need to be that first. If you don't see yourself different in the future, you will not do it. Okay? And I had to see myself like that. I started comparing myself before. I was a working lady and this, and then the baby came and the husband and this and that, and then everything down. So I had to think, if I made it back then, I can still do it now. I started looking for a job. It didn't work because it's different here in South Africa than what I know back home. Okay, there's some regulations, there's this that I didn't know. And by the way, I want to thank things like this, Congolese in Johannesburg. I didn't know about that. I was on my own and I have to look. And the first thing that happened to me is to meet friends. Because I was isolated, I only knew a certain part.
Were you isolated by people or yourself?
Not myself. That's how they brought me here.
Okay.
They put me in a house, everything, and then you stay there.
Wow.
You see? So when everything was removed, now I have to find my way. That's how I told you the story of me going to Alexandra. Okay, it's a funny story, but I had to do it. Okay, I've met people in my church. They heard me speaking French, and they also were from Congo. So we became close, and from there, I learned about other things. That this is what to do in South Africa. This is what we do. This is where we go. You understand? This is how we do it. So I started also moving along slowly. My first business, when I say that I had a shop, I had to go to town, buy stuff, send back home. I have to go around malls for sales and buy things and then send back home. And it takes time, but it's a sacrifice that you need to make. You need to know what do you want. And you're doing it not only for yourself, but you're doing it for your kids as well.
Sure.
The things that was moving my life was I don't want them to think that if my children didn't succeed, it's me. So I wanted that whenever they look at my kids, they have to say, she made it. And that's what is moving me until today. Every time I have to do something, I have to take a decision. Where am I going? When am I going? For how long? It's according to the kids.
Sure.
Yeah. It's a big sacrifice, but I don't regret it. I don't.
Thank you for sharing that. That's very important.
That was very good.
Yeah. Now I've got a question for all of you. I want you guys to answer this question. How important, hearing from what you said, there's a community. It's important to have a community. It's important to have people who support you, and it's important to so you can get by, especially her experiences in a foreign country. I think it's applied everywhere. You need a support system somehow, somewhere. If you don't have family, but if you have family, you also need them as a support system. My question to all of you guys is: how important do you think it is for a woman to be independent financially? Oh, why that sigh, guys?
Agree, disagree.
How important? Because with what you're saying and with somebody mentioned earlier, you never know. You never know. I don't think when you got married you thought that you would ever get divorced.
Yeah.
Because you went to that bridal shower and you thought that advice here, I'm making it in life. And so, how important is it for a woman to be independent, financially independent?
I think it starts with how we define independence.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like the different advices, how we have been raised, they will tell you that, your man is the provider. So, you're just staying at home, you cook, you take care of the kids. So you're not supposed to be outside, as in the man is the main provider. Obviously, things have changed. And as women, obviously, we have come to understand who we are and what we're capable of doing. So now in terms of finances, it can be tricky because
So for you personally, Sarah, do you think it's important for a woman to be financially? You, Sarah, do you think it's important for you to be financially independent? And when I mean independent, I don't mean that you don't rely on. You have something going on. Let's put it like that. Because when I say financially independent, it's like, to be honest, it's like my money is my money, your money is our money. You see?
And we agree.
Yeah. It's that kind of thing. What do you think? For
personally,
you.
For me.
So this question is personally for you.
Yeah.
So we want to hear your opinion, okay?
I do. I really do, because from my personal experience, yes, I still stay with my parents because I'm not married yet. Just by the way, if there's any brother out there.
Congolese rule 101, you don't leave.
So I still live with my parents, and then obviously I got to a point where I was like, I don't want to depend on my parents. So I went out there, started doing my business, being the designer that I am, doing my styling wherever I can do, however I can do it. So for me, it is important not only to be independent from them, but for myself, to build myself up. Definitely.
Okay. Regina?
I also think it's important to be independent as an individual.
Yes.
Because, when times are rough, you can be the helping hand.
Yeah.
You see, I'm always going to end up being a poet somewhere, somehow. But I normally say it's your purpose that propels you to your greatness.
Yes.
So simply meaning that you don't know the reason why you propelled into independence. It's maybe because you need to have certain people around you that you need to, propel them into their greatness. So it is very, very, very important to be independent as an independent. And for me, most definitely for me. I don't like, I'm a type of person, I don't like relying on people.
That's me.
That's like, I swear, if I end up doing that, that means, Regina, you are in desperate measures, But otherwise, I like doing it for myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vina.
I agree with the first two ladies, absolutely. I just feel like as an individual, like she says, it's important to be financially independent, because at the end of the day, yes, we live with everybody, but I mean, you must know your own purpose. Do you see? For me, when you even speak about financial independence, it's knowing your gifts and, mastering your craft so that you get paid and you're doing what you love. So, and I think it's important because when you're independent in any field, you get to find yourself. You know yourself for you. I don't know myself because of John or because of my kids or because of society. I'm learning about myself for myself, and I feel like there's a lot of pleasure that comes from that, and if you can get paid for it, like, why not? You are where the money resides.
Where the money resides.
Thank you.
Nthabeleng? So we're just wrapping up.
I
Nthabeleng?
agree. There's a way that you can become as a person when you are independent and when you are holding your own, whether it be financially or in your vocation or purpose, your passion, even emotionally, your stability. I believe independence is such an important thing, not just from a selfish point of view, although there's an advantage to that as well, to say if I work and get paid for the work that I do, there's an advantage to that independence, because I then am able to do what I need to do per time without being dependent on another person. But more than that, I believe as people, of course, you can't give from an empty cup. So you need to be someone and to feel like you're someone and to take from a full place and then be able to serve the people that are around you. So from a selfish point of view, absolutely. Even from a family point of view, and whether it be siblings or in a family structure, in a relationship, that it's so important for you to bring value on the table when you are engaging with people. I think it's very important.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. It's so interesting to hear all your opinions and what you think about being financially stable. I think it's important to find the balance that works. But also my opinion, I think it's important for a woman to work and have something, And I know I spoke about it earlier, and it's not about working is not about taking away from you being a woman or doing things that you can do as a woman or your duties, etc. It's about finding the balance. So I think in everything that we've said, you need to find the balance and you need to find what works for you, because what works for you is what works for you. I can't say Sarah's measure works with me or Ntabi's mix. It doesn't. Just do what works for you, and as women, I think we need to just stop taking advices from people and making it our own. Create your own narratives.
I like
create your own create your own narratives, because it's what works for another person doesn't work for you. So it was very interesting to hear you guys' opinion. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining and coming to listen. Thank you guys for being here. You guys can follow them. You'll see what their handles will be at the bottom there. And thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Again, happy Women's Day, and we're very open to having these conversations with women so we can help each other. So if you have any questions and stuff, you can leave it at the bottom. And thank you so much for joining, and happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day.
Bye.